Hey guys, welcome to Safi Mixed. In this video, I'm talking about which function in Mathematica. The use of which function in Mathematica is highly important in procedural programming, particularly in situations where conditional equations or conditional situations are involved. If you write which and press the F1 button on your keyboard, you will be taken to this window. And here is the description of the which function. Inside the argument of which functions, there could be infinite entries which happens in pairs. For example, the first value, if I look into it, if I enlarge it and look into it, contains test 1 and then value 1. Similarly, test 2 and value 2. So all these things happens in pairs. First is test, the second is value, second is test, then value, and so on. In order to understand the meaning of these entries, let us move to our program. And here I have written a simple program for implementing the command of which function, and I have constructed a function of a single argument with x, and then I'm writing the which function, and inside the argument of the which function I give 4 entries. First is the test. If this test stands true, the which function will return this value, that is cos x, and similarly if this test is true, the which function would return this value. So let's see and give certain values to the function. If I write the function and put the value, any value with negative value, any number with negative value like -2, it will return. Let me first read this and then I run this. So it gives me cos 2. And if I write this in fraction and again read, still this is a negative value and it returns the cos function. On the other hand, if I set the value as a positive fraction inside the argument of the function and click, it return to sine of half, that is it return this value, because here is I have sine x divided by x. It evaluate the function and return its value. Okay, that is what we have seen in the help function of Mathematica. Now let us use the which function in connection with another important function of Mathematica, which is the if condition. And I have already written this part of the program as well. And here you see I'm using a function with 2 entries. The first is x and the second is n. However, I'm giving a head over here, that is I'm telling Mathematica that n must be a number and must be an integer. So I then write the which function and I put the condition in terms of this, that is I'm defining a range of the values of x. For this range, if, and then at the second position I introduce the if function. So if this condition is valid and I combine the product of n and x to construct another condition under the f function. So if the product of n times x is greater than 0, the which function would return this function, and if the product of nx is not equal to 0, it would then return this function. If you don't know about the details of if functions, I have a number of videos on this on the use of if function, so I would suggest you to watch those videos. Now if I run this part of the program and then I want to extract certain values for the f function, then let me give a value -1 divided by 3, and then I give 6, let me, for the in value, and I remove this. If I run this function, you see the product of these two numbers is in fact -2, and -2 doesn't satisfy this condition. Therefore, that is the product is not greater than 0, it is not a positive number. Therefore, it returns this function as a output. And on the other hand, if I remove the negative sign and run this, I'll get the other function cos, because now this condition is satisfied. So you can combine the which function with if function to get a number of different results. And for continuously varying value of x, if I plot the function for n values equal to -4 and x value varying from -6 to +6, I get a plot like this. So you see, the plot is limited to the region -4 to 4, because we have given this region for the x values, and there is no value of the function beyond this region, and to either sides, that is to the negative values or positive values. That's why I don't have the value of I don't have any plot in this region or in this region. And within this region we have a cos function, and from this point onward we have the value of sine nx divided by nx. So the continuously varying value can exactly be placed by the combination of which and if function in this way. In order to add values for these region, I can construct I can change the argument of which function to incorporate values for these region as well, and that I can do in the form of this function here. From this point to this point, it is the same as we saw in the previous case. That is, I have a little changed the limit. I have converted the lesser sign to lesser or equal to at this position and at this position. However, that doesn't make any big difference. And then I put the f function, and inside the f function I use the same condition on the product of n and x, and I use the same to output cos nx and sine nx divided by nx. And then beyond that limit, I tell Mathematica that if x is lesser than -4, that is to the left of this value, or in this thing, the two parallel lines gives the OR function, or x is greater than 0, that is to the right of this value, then the Mathematica should implement this function, that is sine squared divided by x. Remember, I don't put the integer n inside this equation, so you must note this. And if I run this program and I plot this for the region, let me change this from -8 to 8 so that I could have a logic preview. Then I again use the value of n to be -4, and x varies continuously between these two limits. So if I plot this value, now you see here I have at this side, in this region I have sine x divided by x, and similarly in this region for x greater than 4 I have sine x divided by x. So you can enter any number of conditions in the argument of which function, and you can use the f function at one place. Similarly, you can use for function, and too many other options can be utilized. So which function is an integral part of procedural programming, and we can have a number of different conditions using the which function. At the end, if you haven't yet subscribed to Safi Mixed, kindly support the channel by pressing the subscribe button and also the like button on the video. Thanks for watching.